It was just another summer day, another ice cream cone, another photograph, until it wasn't. A stranger's request and a single text message turned a simple outing into a haunting reminder of life's fragility. The late afternoon sun cast long, dancing shadows across the checkered linoleum floor of Rita's Italian ice. Joyce Reinhardt, a woman sculpted by time and etched with the quiet wisdom of 70 years, watched her grandson, Blake, a whirlwind of 8-year-old energy, debate the merits of cherry versus blue raspberry with the intensity of a seasoned lawyer. Outside, the Pennsylvania heat shimmered off the asphalt, a hazy, almost tangible presence. But inside Rita's, a cool, sugary sanctuary reigned. Joyce often found herself drawn to places like this, places brimming with the fleeting, ephemeral joy of everyday life. She carried an old, battered Nikon camera, its leather strap worn smooth by decades of use. It wasn't a fancy digital model. It was a relic from a time when capturing a moment meant something more, a commitment etched onto film, a tangible piece of time held captive. Her fascination with photography began, not with a click, but with a loss. A faded photograph, tucked away in a cedar chest filled with the ghosts of her childhood, was the catalyst. It depicted a younger Joyce, perhaps Blake's age, standing hand in hand with her mother on a windswept beach. Her father, a man of few words but boundless love, had taken the picture. He was gone now, taken by a sudden illness just weeks after that beach trip. The photograph, grainy and slightly out of focus, was all Joyce had left of that perfect, sun-drenched day. It was a portal, a tangible link to a past that felt both impossibly distant and achingly close. That photograph taught her the power of a captured moment, the way it could hold joy, sorrow, and everything in between, suspended in time, impervious to the relentless march of years. It became her mission, a quiet, unassuming crusade, to capture these moments for others, to offer them a glimpse into the beauty of the ordinary, the extraordinary hidden within the mundane. She'd photographed children building sandcastles, lovers sharing a stolen kiss, old men playing chess in the park. Strangers, mostly. She rarely asked for anything in return, just the fleeting connection, the shared humanity of a moment preserved. Blake, finally deciding on a swirling concoction of both cherry and blue raspberry, grinned up at Joyce, his face a sticky, vibrant testament to summer. He was her daughter's child, a bright spark in the quiet twilight of her life. Their weekly ice cream ritual was a sacred tradition, a small island of sweetness in the vast ocean of time. "Grandma," Blake said, his voice muffled by a mouthful of icy sweetness, "why do you always take pictures of people you don't know?" Joyce smiled, a network of fine lines crinkling around her eyes. "Because, my dear Blake," she said, her voice a low, gentle murmur, "sometimes the most beautiful stories are written on the faces of strangers. And sometimes," she added, a subtle shift in her tone, a hint of something deeper, almost imperceptible, "those stories need to be told." There was a weight in her words, a hidden depth that Blake, in his youthful exuberance, didn't quite grasp. It was a weight born of experience, of loss, of the understanding that time, like a melting ice cream cone, was a precious, fleeting thing. Today, something felt different. A prickling on the back of her neck, a subtle hum in the air. It wasn't a premonition, not exactly. It was more like a heightened awareness, a sense that the ordinary was about to be punctuated by something significant. She couldn't explain it, even to herself. It was just a feeling, a whisper in the quiet spaces of her soul. She looked around Rita's, her eyes scanning the faces, searching for something. She didn't know what. Yet, the air inside Rita's was a symphony of sensory delights. The high-pitched squeals of children, fueled by sugar and summer freedom, mingled with the rhythmic whir of the ice cream machines and the soft murmur of adult conversations. The air hung heavy with the sweet, artificial tang of 100 different flavors: mango, cotton candy, Swedish fish, a kaleidoscope of childhood dreams. Joyce inhaled deeply, the familiar scent triggering a cascade of memories. Birthday parties, summer picnics, stolen moments of shared joy. She observed the other patrons, a cross-section of small-town America. A young couple, lost in their own world, shared a single cup, their fingers intertwined. A group of teenagers, their laughter echoing off the brightly colored walls, huddled around a table, their phones glowing like miniature beacons. An elderly man, his face etched with the roadmap of a long life, sat alone, reading a worn paperback, his presence a quiet counterpoint to the youthful exuberance around him. Joyce wondered about their stories. What joys and sorrows had shaped their lives? What secrets did they hold close? What moments, big or small, had defined their journey? She felt a pang of something, not sadness, exactly, more like a wistful longing, a recognition of the shared human experience, the fleeting beauty of it all. She remembered a time when she and her late husband, George, would frequent places like this, their laughter blending with the chorus of other happy souls. A phantom pain, a dull ache in her chest, reminded her of his absence. Suddenly, her gaze was drawn to a family entering the shop. They moved with a quiet grace, an understated elegance that set them apart from the boisterous crowd. The mother, Sarah, had a delicate beauty, a fragile quality that made Joyce's heart ache with an unknown premonition. Her eyes, though, held a spark, a resilience that belied the subtle shadows beneath them. The father, David, possessed a quiet strength, a protective aura that enveloped his family like an invisible shield. His hand rested lightly on Sarah's back, a gesture of unspoken support. And then there was Lily, their daughter, a miniature version of her mother, her face alight with the unadulterated joy of a child on the cusp of an ice cream adventure. They ordered their treats. Sarah opted for a simple vanilla, David chose something chocolate, and Lily, after much deliberation, went for a vibrant rainbow swirl. They settled onto a bench just outside the shop, bathed in the golden glow of the setting sun. Joyce felt it then, the unmistakable pull, the almost magnetic force that had drawn her to her camera countless times before. It wasn't just the visual composition, the perfect light, the vibrant colors, the genuine emotion on their faces. It was something deeper, something inexplicable, a sense of urgency, a feeling that this moment, this seemingly ordinary moment, was somehow crucial. She hesitated. She always hesitated. The fear of intrusion, of disrupting a private moment, always gnawed at her. But the feeling, the knowing, was too strong to ignore. She took a deep breath, her heart beating a nervous rhythm against her ribs. "Excuse me," she said, her voice a little shaky, approaching the family. "I know this is unusual, but I'm a photographer, of sorts. And I just saw you all sitting here, and, well, you look so lovely. Would you mind if I took your picture?" Sarah looked up, her expression a mixture of surprise and something else. Was it weariness? Acceptance? Joyce couldn't quite decipher it, but there was a softness in her eyes, a gentle kindness that eased Joyce's apprehension. "Oh," Sarah said, a slight smile gracing her lips. "Well, I suppose not." David nodded, his gaze meeting Joyce's with a warmth that surprised her. "That's very kind of you," he said. Lily, however, was ecstatic. Yes. Can I see it after?" she chirped, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Of course, sweetheart," Joyce said, smiling. She felt a surge of warmth, a connection to this family, a feeling that transcended the simple act of taking a photograph. It felt fated. "Just be yourselves," Joyce said, her voice steadier now, the initial nervousness replaced by a quiet confidence. She stepped back, framing the family against the backdrop of the setting sun. The light was perfect, a warm, golden hue that bathed them in an ethereal glow. "Lily, how about you sit between your mom and dad?" Joyce suggested gently. Lily, thrilled to be the center of attention, eagerly complied. Sarah and David exchanged a look, a silent communication that spoke volumes. There was love there, certainly, but also a hint of something else. A shared secret, perhaps? A burden carried with quiet dignity? Joyce couldn't put her finger on it, but the feeling, the knowing, intensified. "What's your favorite thing about summer, Lily?" Joyce asked, trying to elicit a natural smile. Lily's face lit up. "Ice cream," she exclaimed, without hesitation, and in swimming, and in staying up late. Sarah laughed, a soft, melodic sound that momentarily chased away the shadows in her eyes. "She's a summer girl, through and through," she said, her voice tinged with a bittersweet tenderness. "And what about you, Sarah?" Joyce asked, turning her attention to the mother. "What do you love about summer?" Sarah paused, her gaze drifting towards the horizon, as if searching for something lost in the fading light. The long days," she said finally, her voice barely a whisper. "The feeling that anything is possible." There was a fragility in her voice, a vulnerability that made Joyce's heart ache. David placed his hand over Sarah's, his touch gentle but firm. "We're making the most of every moment," he said, his voice thick with emotion. He looked at Joyce, a silent plea in his eyes. A plea for what? Understanding? Remembrance? Joyce wasn't sure. The conversation flowed easily, surprisingly so. It felt natural, comfortable, as if they were old friends, not strangers meeting for the first time. They talked about small things, ordinary things, Lily's upcoming school year, David's work as a carpenter, Sarah's love of gardening. But beneath the surface of the ordinary conversation, there was a current of something deeper, something unspoken. Joyce felt a connection to this family, a profound sense of empathy that went beyond mere politeness. She felt drawn to Sarah, to her quiet strength, her resilience in the face of something. Joyce didn't know what that something was, but she felt it, a palpable presence, a shadow lurking just beneath the surface. Finally, Joyce raised her camera. "Okay," she said softly. "Just relax, be yourselves, and smile." They did. Lily's smile was pure, unadulterated joy. David's smile was a mixture of love and something else. Sarah's smile was heartbreaking. It was a smile that reached her eyes, but didn't quite erase the sadness that lingered there. It was a smile that said, "I'm here, I'm present, I'm fighting." Click. The shutter clicked, capturing the moment. The light, the colors, the expressions. It was all perfect. But it was more than just a technically perfect photograph. It was a portrait of a family, a testament to their love, their resilience, their vulnerability. It was a moment in time, frozen forever. Joyce lowered her camera, her hands trembling slightly. She felt drained, emotionally exhausted, as if she had poured all of her energy into that single click. "There," she said softly. "It's beautiful." She handed her phone to Lily, who eagerly typed in her parents' number. "I'll text it to you right away," Joyce said. "Thank you," Sarah said, her voice filled with genuine gratitude. It means a lot." "Yes, thank you," David echoed, his eyes meeting Joyce's. "You have no idea." Lily, her fingers flying across the screen, giggled. "It's sent," she announced proudly. Joyce smiled, a genuine, heartfelt smile. "Enjoy the rest of your evening," she said. "You too," Sarah replied. And with that, Joyce turned and walked back towards Blake, who was patiently waiting, his ice cream long gone. As she walked, she couldn't shake the feeling that she had just witnessed something profound, something that would stay with her long after the sun had set and the sweet taste of summer had faded away. The mystery, however, was just beginning. The following day dawned bright and clear, a mirror image of the previous one. Joyce woke to the familiar sounds of birds chirping outside her window, the gentle hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen, the distant rumble of a passing truck. It was a day like any other, filled with the mundane routines of everyday life. She made coffee, watered her plants, a collection of vibrant blooms that spilled over her windowsill, a testament to her nurturing spirit, and ate a simple breakfast of toast and jam. She thought about the family she had met at Rita's, a fleeting image of their faces flashing through her mind. She wondered how they were doing, what their day held in store. She briefly considered reaching out, sending a quick text to see how they were. But she dismissed the idea, not wanting to intrude on their privacy. They were strangers, after all, connected only by a single, fleeting moment. The morning passed slowly, filled with the quiet rhythm of domesticity. She read the newspaper, did a crossword puzzle, and called her daughter, Blake's mother, to check in. Life, in its ordinary, unassuming way continued to unfold. As the afternoon sun began to slant through the windows, casting long shadows across her living room, Joyce settled onto her patio, a glass of iced tea in hand. It was her favorite time of day, a moment of quiet contemplation, a chance to reflect on the small blessings of life. Suddenly, her phone buzzed, a sharp, insistent vibration that shattered the peaceful silence. It was a text message from an unknown number. Joyce frowned, a flicker of apprehension passing through her. She rarely received texts from unknown numbers. Spam, usually. She almost deleted it without reading it. But something, a subtle intuition, a nagging feeling, stopped her. She opened the message, and her world tilted on its axis. The words swam before her eyes, blurring into an incomprehensible mess. She blinked, forcing herself to focus, to read the message again, slowly, deliberately. "It's David," the message began. "From Rita's. Yesterday." Joyce's heart skipped a beat. She remembered David, his quiet strength, his gentle smile. I don't know how to say this," the message continued. "Sarah. She passed away. This morning. She had been ill. For a long time. Cancer." The words hit Joyce like a physical blow, stealing her breath, leaving her gasping for air. She felt a wave of nausea, a dizzying sense of unreality. Sarah? Gone? It couldn't be true. It felt like a cruel, impossible joke. "The photograph you took," the message went on, it was the last picture we have of her. Of us. Together. As a family." Tears welled up in Joyce's eyes, spilling down her cheeks, hot and stinging. She felt a profound sense of grief, a deep, aching sorrow for a woman she had barely known, for a family she had only met for a fleeting moment. I just wanted to thank you," the message concluded. "You gave us a gift. A precious, priceless gift. We will cherish it forever. If you would like, you're welcome to the memorial service. It will be a small gathering, just family and close friends. I can send you the details." Joyce sat there, numb, the phone trembling in her hand. The world around her, the chirping birds, the rustling leaves, the gentle breeze, seemed to fade away, replaced by a deafening silence, a void filled with grief and disbelief. She didn't know what to say, what to do. She felt lost, adrift in a sea of sorrow. Sarah, the vibrant, beautiful woman with the heartbreaking smile, gone. And the photograph, the seemingly insignificant photograph she had almost not taken. It had become a lifeline, a tangible connection to a life cut short, a memory to be cherished forever. The mystery of the family's subtle sadness, the weight in their eyes, it was all tragically clear now. The tears flowed freely now, hot and unrestrained. Joyce clutched the phone to her chest, as if it were a tangible link to the family, to Sarah. She felt a profound sense of guilt, a crushing weight of what-ifs. What if she had noticed the subtle signs of Sarah's illness? What if she had asked more questions? What if she had offered something more than just a photograph? She reread David's message, the words blurring through her tears. A precious, priceless gift. The phrase echoed in her mind, a bittersweet reminder of the power of a single moment, the profound impact of a seemingly insignificant act of kindness. She thought of Blake, his innocent question about why she took pictures of strangers. She had told him that the most beautiful stories were often written on the faces of strangers. Now, she understood the truth of her own words in a way she never had before. After what felt like an eternity, Joyce composed herself. She wiped away her tears, took a deep breath, and typed a reply. "David, I am so incredibly sorry for your loss. I don't know what to say." She was radiant. "I only met her for a moment, but I felt a connection. I am honored that the photograph means so much to you." She hesitated, then added, "I would be honored to attend the memorial service. Please send me the details." She sent the message, then closed her eyes, her mind reeling. She felt a profound sense of sadness, but also something else. A sense of gratitude, perhaps? A renewed appreciation for the fragility of life, the importance of human connection, the power of a single, captured moment. She called Blake, her voice choked with emotion. She told him about Sarah, about the photograph, about the message. Blake, in his innocent wisdom, offered a simple, profound comfort. "Grandma," he said, "you made them happy. You gave them a memory. That's a good thing." His words, simple as they were, resonated deeply within Joyce. He was right. She had given them something. Something precious. Something that would last long after the pain of their loss had faded. Over the next few days, Joyce and David exchanged several messages. He told her more about Sarah, about her courage, her resilience, her unwavering love for her family. He told her about Lily, about how she was coping, about the small, heartbreaking ways she was trying to understand her mother's absence. Joyce listened, offered words of comfort, and shared her own memories of the brief encounter at Rita's. She learned about Sarah's passion for gardening, her love of books, her dedication to her family. She learned about the life that had been cut short, the dreams that would never be realized. Joyce decided to attend the memorial service. It was held in a small, intimate chapel, filled with flowers and the soft glow of candlelight. The air was heavy with grief, but also with love. Family and friends shared stories about Sarah, their voices choked with emotion, their faces etched with sorrow. Joyce sat quietly, listening, her heart aching for David and Lily. She saw Lily, sitting in the front row, clutching a small, stuffed animal, her eyes wide and filled with a mixture of confusion and grief. During a quiet moment, Joyce approached David. He greeted her with a sad smile, his eyes red-rimmed. "Thank you for coming," he said, his voice hoarse. It means a lot. I wanted to be here," Joyce said, her voice trembling, to offer my condolences. "And to tell you again how sorry I am." He nodded, his gaze drifting towards Lily. She misses her mom terribly," he said, "but she's strong, like her mother." Joyce reached out and gently touched Lily's arm. Lily looked up at her, her eyes filled with tears. "Your mom she was very special," Joyce said softly. "I only met her for a moment, but I could see how much she loved you." Lily nodded, a single tear tracing a path down her cheek. She clutched her stuffed animal tighter. Later, during the reception, Joyce shared the story of the photograph with some of Sarah's friends and family. They listened, their faces etched with a mixture of sadness and gratitude. "You captured her essence," one of Sarah's friends said, her voice choked with emotion. That smile. That's how I'll always remember her." Years passed. Joyce continued to take photographs, her camera a constant companion, her eye drawn to the beauty of the ordinary, the extraordinary hidden within the mundane. But her perspective had shifted. The encounter with Sarah and her family had deepened her understanding of the power of her craft, the profound impact it could have on the lives of others. The story of the photograph, the last picture, spread. It started small, within Joyce's circle of friends and family, then expanded, rippling outwards like a stone dropped into a still pond. It was shared on social media, picked up by local news outlets, and eventually even featured in a national magazine. The photograph became a symbol of hope, of resilience, of the enduring power of love in the face of loss. It touched the hearts of strangers, reminding them to cherish their loved ones, to appreciate the small moments, to live each day to the fullest. One sunny afternoon, several years later, Joyce received a package in the mail. It was from Lily, now a teenager, her handwriting neat and elegant. Inside was a handwritten letter and a photograph. "Dear Joyce," the letter began, "I wanted to thank you again for the photograph you took of my mom, my dad, and me. It's my most treasured possession. It reminds me of her every day, of her smile, her warmth, her love. I'm going to college next year," the letter continued. "I'm going to study photography." Joyce's heart swelled with emotion. She smiled, tears welling up in her eyes. The photograph was a portrait of Lily, taken at the beach. She was standing on the shore, the wind whipping through her hair, her face turned towards the sun. She was smiling, and in her smile, Joyce saw a glimmer of Sarah, a reflection of her mother's spirit, her resilience, her love. The ripple effect of a single act of kindness, a single captured moment, continued to spread, touching lives, inspiring hope and reminding us all of the enduring power of human connection. The mystery, perhaps, wasn't about the sadness, but the enduring beauty that could be found even in the face of loss.